Welcome to the quiet universe. Tonight, there is nowhere you need to go. No messages waiting for you. No pressure to stay awake. No urgency. No noise you need to carry any longer. You can simply rest here for a while. Let your breathing slow naturally. And as the world around you becomes quieter, we begin drifting away from Earth together. Because the universe does not rush. Tonight, we travel toward the nearest star beyond our Sunday. A dim red light hidden inside the darkness between worlds. A star called Proxima Centauri, the closest neighboring sun. A tiny ember suspended in the endless black ocean of space. And somewhere around that distant star, may another sky, another horizon, perhaps even another form of life, quietly existing beneath crimson light. But before we arrive there, we first have to leave home. Imagine Earth beneath you now, blue oceans slowly turning beneath clouds, sunlight reflecting across water, storm systems spiraling silently above continents. From far enough away, Earth no longer looks crowded. No borders, no cities, no arguments, no names, only color, white clouds, blue oceans, brown land, thin atmosphere of a fragile world, floating in darkness. Everything humanity has ever known exists there. Every language, every story, every memory, every civilization, every person who has ever fallen in love looked at the stars, or wondered what waits beyond them. All of it contained on one small planet orbiting one ordinary star. And as we continue drifting farther away, Earth slowly becomes. At first, you can still see continents, then only oceans, then clouds disappear entirely. Soon, Earth becomes a pale point of light beside the brightness of the Sunday. And for the first time tonight, the scale of space begins to reveal itself. Human beings evolved in environments where distances felt manageable. Mountains could be crossed, forests could be explored, oceans, eventually, could be sailed. Even the farthest places on Earth can now be reached within hours. But space changes the meaning of distance. The moon feels far away from Earth, and yet light reaches it in barely over 1 second. The Sunday feels unimaginably distant, yet sunlight touches Earth in only 8 minutes. But Proxima Centauri, the nearest star beyond our own, waits more than 4 years away at the speed of light. And nothing in the universe moves faster. If every second of your life became one step forward through space, you still would not reach it. The universe is not simply large. It is emotionally enormous. Oscale so, as Earth fades behind us, the solar system slowly reveals its true shape. Not crowded, not busy, but astonishingly empty. The planets are separated by immense oceans of silence. If the Sunday were the size of a small orange, Earth would orbit several meters away. Neptune would drift hundreds of meters farther, and Proxima Centauri, even at that scale, it would still be thousands of kilometers distant. The stars are not arranged like city lights. They are isolated islands, lonely fires scattered across a cosmic sea. And perhaps that loneliness is one reason the night sky affects us so deeply. Because somewhere inside ourselves, human beings understand distance emotionally. We understand longing, we understand separation, and space reflects those feelings back to us on impossible scales. For most of human history, people believed the stars were fixed forever. Ancient civilizations looked upward and saw patterns. Constellations crossing the heavens each season. The same lights returning, year after year above deserts, forests, oceans, and mountains. The sky appeared permanent, sacred, unchanging, but eventually humanity discovered something astonishing. The stars move. Everything moves. Planets orbit, nebulas expand. Even space itself stretches outward. And among those moving stars exists a tiny red dwarf hidden in the southern sky, Proxima Centauri, discovered in 1915 by astronomer Robert Innes. Invisible to the naked eye, too dim for ancient civilizations to notice. For thousands of years, humanity lived beneath the light of the nearest neighboring star, without realizing it was there. There is something strangely beautiful about that. The closest star remained hidden, as though the universe were quietly reminding us that importance and brightness are not always the same thing. Proxima Centauri belongs to a category of stars known as red dwarfs. Small stars, cool stars, patient stars. Compared to our Sunday, Proxima is tiny. Its diameter is far smaller. Its brightness dramatically weaker. If our Sunday were a roaring campfire, Proxima would resemble a candle glowing softly in a dark room. And yet red dwarfs dominate the galaxy. Most stars in the Milky Way are not giant brilliant suns. Most are quiet red embers. Humanity grew up beside an unusually bright star and assumed brightness was normal. But the universe prefers subtle fires. Perhaps existence itself is quieter than we imagine. Because red dwarfs burn fuel slowly, they survive for extraordinary lengths of time, trillions of years, long after our Sunday dies, long after Earth disappears, long after oceans evaporate and continents dissolve. Proxima Centauri may still remain, a small patient light refusing to go dark. Tree for a moment to imagine 1 trillion years. Human civilization is only a few thousand years old. Recorded history occupies a nearly invisible fraction of cosmic time. Even mountains are temporary compared to stars. Continents drift. Species emerge and disappear. Ice ages come and go. And through all those transformations, stars continue burning quietly overhead. The universe measures time differently. Human beings think in days. Stars think in billions of years. Galaxies think in epochs so vast, they almost resemble eternity. Perhaps that is one reason space feels calming. The cosmos does not rush. Galaxies rotate slowly. Nebulas drift patiently. Light travels endlessly through darkness. Cosmic time is gentle. As we continue outward, the sun behind us grows small. Its warmth fades. The planets become distant memories. Ahead, Proxima Centauri glows faintly in the blackness, a dim red point waiting silently across interstellar space. The darkness between stars is difficult to describe. Not frightening darkness, not empty darkness, ancient darkness, the kind that existed before Earth, the kind that will continue long after humanity disappears. There is no sound here, no wind, no storms, only stillness. And within that stillness moves light, silent rivers of photons crossing unimaginable distances. Some of the light reaching Earth tonight left Proxima Centauri more than 4 years ago, before before entire chapters of human life unfolded. While humanity changed, the light continued traveling patiently onward. The universe operates on scales larger than human urgency. There is something deeply humbling about that. Modern life often feels immediate. Messages arrive instantly. Images appear in seconds. People grow, but the cosmos moves differently. Nothing important in space happens quickly. Stars evolve slowly. Galaxies collide gradually. Even light requires years to cross the smallest interstellar gaps. And perhaps human beings need reminders like that. Reminders to slow down, to breathe. To remember that existence itself is not in a hurry. Proxima Centauri is not alone. It belongs to a larger family of stars known as the Alpha Centauri system. Nearby orbit two brighter companion stars, Alpha Centauri A and Alpha Centauri B. Together they dance through space in a slow gravitational relationship lasting thousands of years. If viewed from a nearby planet, the sky there might contain multiple suns, different dawns, different sunsets, different shadows. Imagine standing on a distant world beneath two stars, instead of one. Perhaps mornings would glow gold and white simultaneously. Perhaps evenings would linger longer. Perhaps shadows would. The universe may contain skies stranger and more beautiful than anything humanity has yet imagined. And somewhere far from the brighter stars, Proxima drifts quietly like an outsider. Smaller, dimmer, more isolated. A lonely red ember orbiting the edge of a stellar family. Human beings often feel emotionally connected to lonely things. Remote islands, small cabins beneath winter skies, single lights glowing in darkness. Perhaps because loneliness itself is deeply human, even surrounded by others, people sometimes feel isolated inside their own thoughts. And in a strange way, Proxima Centauri reflects that feeling. The nearest star and yet unreachable. Close enough to dream, too distant to touch. At least for now. Today, some scientists imagine sending tiny spacecraft toward Proxima Centauri. Projects like Breakthrough Starshot propose microscopic probes propelled by powerful lasers. Small machines accelerated to incredible speeds. Tiny travelers crossing interstellar darkness. If successful, such probes could someday reach Proxima within a human lifetime. Imagine receiving the first real image from another star system. Not an artist's impression, not a computer simulation, a genuine photograph. Alien mountains beneath crimson skies, dark oceans reflecting red sunlight, or perhaps only barren rock and shadow. Either way, humanity would change forever. Because for the first time, our species would truly touch another star. There is courage in exploration, not because success is guaranteed, but because mystery matters. Ancient sailors crossed unknown oceans without knowing what waited beyond the horizon. Early astronomers studied the heavens without understanding galaxies. And now humanity stands at another shoreline, the edge of interstellar space, looking outward toward Proxima Centauri, the way ancient explorers once looked toward distant seas. Curiosity appears deeply woven into consciousness, even when answers are uncertain, even when the unknown feels frightening. Perhaps curiosity is stronger than fear. Imagine now that we are approaching Proxima more closely. The red star slowly grows brighter against the darkness. Still faint, still gentle, not the blazing gold of our sun, but a softer glow, a quieter fire. Red dwarf stars are cooler than stars like the sun. Their light carries a deep reddish tone. If you stood on a nearby planet, the sky itself might feel permanently altered. Colors would change. Sunsets would appear unfamiliar. Landscapes would glow beneath dim crimson daylight. And if a world there were tidally locked, one side forever facing the star, then entire regions might exist beneath endless sunset. Permanent evening. A world where dawn never arrives and night never fully falls. Human beings have always loved twilight. The in-between moments, the fading of light. Rain against windows. The softness of dusk. Perhaps because life itself exists between extremes. Between beginnings and endings. Between memory and forgetting. Between certainty and mystery. And maybe that is why alien worlds fascinate us emotionally. Not simply because they are different, but because they mirror something inside ourselves. In 2016, astronomers announced a discovery that transformed Proxima Centauri forever. In the human imagination, they discovered a planet, Proxima Centauri B, a rocky world, orbiting within the habitable zone of the nearest star. Suddenly, the closest neighboring sun possessed a world. Not science fiction, not mythology, a real planet beneath another sky. No one knows exactly what Proxima b looks like. Perhaps radiation stripped away its atmosphere long ago. Perhaps oceans once existed there. Or perhaps beneath dim red sunlight, clouds still drift above dark alien seas. We do not know. And uncertainty creates wonder. Every unanswered question becomes a doorway for imagination. Imagine standing there now, the sky glowing deep crimson, the star larger in the sky than our Sunday appears from Earth, yet dimmer, softer, stranger. Perhaps fierce winds move endlessly between hot and frozen hemispheres. Perhaps giant storms circle the world forever. Perhaps oceans reflect red light beneath silent skies. And if life exists there, it evolved beneath a sun, unlike any human being has ever seen naturally with their own eyes. Life on Earth survives in astonishing places. Deep beneath Antarctic ice, inside volcanic vents, in acidic lakes, far below oceans where sunlight never reaches. Biology is resilient, persistent, creative, which means the universe may contain forms of life stranger than imagination. Not monsters, not invaders, simply different paths existence discovered for survival. Human beings often ask whether we are alone. Perhaps it is the oldest scientific question ever asked. Children ask it naturally. Ancient philosophers asked it beside fires. Modern astronomers ask it through radio telescopes and equations. Are we alone? The strange thing is that the universe remains mostly silent. No confirmed alien voices. No undeniable contact. Only stars. Only darkness. And perhaps silence itself changes us. Maybe intelligent life is rare. Maybe civilizations disappear quickly. Maybe the distances between stars are simply too enormous. Or perhaps the galaxy is filled with life. Every world isolated inside vast oceans of darkness. Like islands separated by cosmic seas. There is a feeling that appears when people stare deeply into the night sky. Not exactly sadness. Not exactly fear. Something softer. Cosmic loneliness. The awareness that consciousness may be fragile and uncommon. A brief flame burning inside an ancient universe. And yet perhaps that makes awareness more meaningful. Because if conscious life is rare, then every moment of understanding matters. Every act of kindness matters. Every experience of beauty matters. Through conscious beings, the universe becomes capable of reflection. Through us, the cosmos notices itself. When astronauts traveled into space and looked back at Earth, many described a profound emotional transformation known as the overview effect. From orbit, borders disappeared. Conflicts seemed temporary. Earth appeared whole, fragile, alive, a small blue sphere floating in endless darkness. From Proxima Centauri, Earth would become almost invisible. Human civilization reduced to a faint point of light. And perhaps perspective like that changes human thought. The problems that dominate ordinary life begin to feel smaller beneath cosmic scale. Not meaningless, just temporary, like waves passing across a deeper ocean. As the night grows quieter around you now, imagine the silence of interstellar space surrounding Proxima Centauri. No sound, no voices, only the steady glow of a red star drifting through the Milky Way. Ancient, patient, silent, and somewhere around it, perhaps, another world turns slowly beneath crimson skies. A world humanity may someday reach, or perhaps only dream about forever. Either possibility contains beauty, because sometimes wonder itself is enough. Tonight, without rockets or engines, you have already crossed interstellar space. That may be one of humanity's quiet superpowers. The ability to mentally inhabit places never physically touched. Long before airplanes existed, humans dreamed of flight. Long before submarines, humans imagined worlds beneath the sea. Long before telescopes discovered exoplanets, humans imagined alien skies. Perhaps someday, human footprints truly will press into the dust of another world orbiting Proxima Centauri. Perhaps future explorers will stand beneath red sunlight and remember Earth the way sailors once remembered distant homelands. Or perhaps humanity will remain forever within the solar system, learning instead to appreciate the extraordinary beauty already surrounding us. Either future contains wonder. For now, though, we continue floating quietly beside the nearest star beyond the sun, a tiny ember glowing softly in endless darkness, not dramatic, but emotionally powerful. Because Proxima Centauri represents possibility. The possibility that humanity is not forever confined to one world. The possibility that life may exist elsewhere. The possibility that the universe still contains futures we cannot yet imagine. And somewhere between Earth and that distant red light stretches one of the greatest frontiers existence has ever offered: interstellar space. Thank you for drifting through the universe tonight. May your thoughts grow calmer. May your breathing slow gently. May the stars feel a little closer, and as sleep slowly approaches, imagine Proxima Centauri still glowing softly in the darkness. A neighboring sun, a distant ember, a reminder that the universe is immeasurably vast and still filled with mystery. Tonight, we continue drifting through the darkness between stars. Slowly, quietly, without urgency. Far behind us now, Earth has faded into distance. The warmth of the sun feels smaller. The familiar planets of the solar system drift like memories behind us. And ahead, still glowing softly against the black ocean of interstellar space, waits Proxima Centauri, a dim red star. Ancient, patient, silent, and somewhere around that lonely ember orbits one of the most fascinating worlds humanity has ever discovered. A planet known as Proxima Centauri b. Tonight, we travel there together. Imagine approaching the planet slowly from space. At first, it appears only as a dark sphere moving across the red glow of its star. No city lights, no evidence of civilization, only shadow, only mystery. As you drift closer, details begin to emerge. Clouds perhaps, frozen regions, dark oceans, or endless rock shaped by ancient winds. No human being knows exactly what waits there, and somehow, that uncertainty makes the world feel even more beautiful, because mystery. Proxima Centauri b orbits extremely close to its star. Much closer than Earth orbits the Sun. A full year there may last only around 11 Earth days. Imagine that. Entire seasons compressed into less than 2 weeks. The universe constantly reminds us that reality can behave in ways far stranger than intuition expects. Human beings evolved under one sky, one rhythm of days and years. But elsewhere in the cosmos, time itself feels different. Scientists believe Proxima b may be tidally locked. One side always facing the star, one side facing endless darkness forever. A permanent day, a permanent night. No sunrise, no sunset, at least not in the way we understand them. And yet, between those extremes may exist a narrow twilight region. A band of eternal evening stretching around the planet like a ring. Not too hot, not too cold. A world suspended forever between fire and ice. Human beings are strangely emotional about twilight. Perhaps because twilight itself feels temporary. The fading edge between states, between waking and sleep, between memory and dream, and maybe that is why the imagined landscapes of Proxima b affect people so deeply, because they resemble emotion made physical. A planet existing forever inside a sunset. Imagine standing there now, the horizon glowing dim crimson beneath a dark alien sky. The star larger than our Sunday appears from Earth, yet softer and deeper in color. Perhaps clouds move slowly overhead. Perhaps cold winds travel endlessly between hemispheres. If oceans exist there, they may appear almost black beneath red light. Waves moving quietly across silent shores no human feet have ever touched. And above that shoreline hangs Proxima Centauri. Not bright gold like our Sunday, but dark red, a cooler fire. A quieter kind of star. Red dwarf stars, like Proxima, behave differently from stars such as the Sunday. They burn slowly, carefully, patiently, but they can also be violent, without warning. Powerful stellar flares erupt from their surfaces. Massive bursts of radiation, flooding nearby space. If Earth orbited so close to an active red dwarf, life here would face enormous challenges. Atmospheres might slowly erode. Radiation could strike the surface constantly. And yet life on Earth has repeatedly demonstrated astonishing resilience. Biology survives in places once thought impossible. Deep beneath Antarctic ice. Inside radioactive environments. Within boiling volcanic vents. Beneath the sea, life adapts. Again and again. Which means somewhere beneath Proxima's crimson skies, survival itself may have discovered unfamiliar forms. Perhaps microscopic organisms drift through dark alien oceans. Perhaps strange plant-like structures absorb red sunlight. Perhaps underground ecosystems survive beneath layers of rock protected from stellar radiation. Or perhaps the planet is silent, cold, empty. Because beauty in the cosmos does not depend entirely on life. Sometimes existence itself is enough. A lonely world beneath a lonely star. There is something emotional about imagining places no human being has ever seen directly. The mind fills silence with possibility. Ancient people once imagined unknown islands beyond oceans. Modern humanity imagines exoplanets beyond stars. The instinct is the same. Curiosity pulling consciousness toward mystery. Perhaps curiosity is not simply an emotion. Perhaps it is one of the fundamental survival traits of intelligence itself. The desire to know what lies beyond the horizon. Imagine now that night falls on the dark side of Proxima b, not ordinary night, eternal night, a hemisphere where the star never rises. Temperatures there could plunge dramatically. Vast frozen landscapes stretching beneath endless stars. Glaciers reflecting faint crimson light from the horizon. Ice mountains standing motionless beneath alien constellations. And above them all, the Milky Way, brighter than most humans on Earth have ever seen. A river of stars crossing blackness. Billions of suns suspended across the sky. The universe appears most beautiful in darkness. Perhaps because darkness allows light to exist meaningfully. Human beings often fear darkness. But space teaches a different perspective. Darkness is not merely absence. It is contrast. Without darkness, stars disappear. Without silence, music loses shape. With the cosmos constantly balances opposites. Light and shadow, heat and cold, creation and destruction. Perhaps life itself exists because of balance. As we drift above the twilight boundary of Proxima b, imagine storms moving endlessly around the planet. Powerful winds generated by extreme temperature differences between the hot and frozen hemispheres. Cloud systems circling forever. lightning perhaps illuminating distant alien oceans. The atmosphere itself flowing continuously between extremes. Some scientists believe such planets may contain habitable regions precisely because of those balances. Not perfect worlds, but survivable ones. And perhaps life anywhere in the universe depends less on perfection than adaptability. Earth itself is not gentle. Our world contains earthquakes, storms, droughts, volcanoes, and extinctions. And still life flourished here. Perhaps because survival is not about comfort. Perhaps survival is about persistence. Imagine now that somewhere beneath the oceans of Proxima b, life quietly evolves over millions of years. Tiny organisms adapting beneath dim red light. Simple at first, then slowly more complex. Perhaps eventually intelligence emerges. Creatures lifting their eyes toward the stars above alien seas, wondering whether they are the same question humanity asks beneath Earth's sky. And perhaps that possibility changes us emotionally. Because if consciousness can emerge elsewhere, then awareness itself becomes part of the universe, rather than an isolated accident. The cosmos may contain countless moments of awakening, countless minds, staring upward through different atmospheres, beneath different suns, or perhaps consciousness is incredibly rare. A fragile flame appearing only occasionally across cosmic history. We still do not know. And maybe uncertainty is part of what makes astronomy beautiful. For centuries, human beings imagined the stars as unreachable, beautiful, but forever distant. No, everything has changed. Modern telescopes reveal planets everywhere. The galaxy appears filled with worlds, rocky worlds, ocean worlds, frozen worlds, worlds orbiting multiple suns, worlds larger than Jupiter, worlds smaller than Earth. Reality has turned out stranger and more creative than fiction. And among all those discoveries, Proxima b remains emotionally important. Because it is near enough to dream about reaching, the nearest possible Earth, like world beyond the solar system, the first step outward. Today, some scientists and engineers dream about sending probes toward Proxima Centauri. One proposed project, Breakthrough Starshot, imagines tiny spacecraft propelled by enormous laser arrays. Microscopic probes accelerated to incredible speeds. Small artificial travelers crossing the darkness between stars. If successful, such machines could someday reach Proxima within a few decades. Imagine humanity waiting for the first signal returning from another star system. The first true image, not an artist's painting, not a digital simulation, a genuine photograph captured beside another sun, alien mountains, crimson clouds, frozen coastlines, or perhaps barren silence beneath red skies. Either way, civilization would change forever. Because once another star becomes reachable, even by machines, the galaxy suddenly feels smaller, more connected, more real. There is something deeply emotional about the idea of interstellar travel, not simply because of tech, but because of what it represents psychologically. Human beings have always moved toward horizons, across deserts, across oceans, across mountains. The unknown calls to us, and perhaps that instinct exists because consciousness naturally expands outward. Awareness seeks larger perspectives. But interstellar travel also forces humanity to confront difficult truths. The distances are enormous. Human life is brief. Even the nearest stars remain extraordinarily difficult to reach. Light itself needs years to cross the gap between the Sunday and Proxima Centauri. And yet, despite those obstacles, people continue imagining the journey. Because perhaps meaning is found not only in arrival, but in aspiration. The desire to reach beyond limitations. Imagine future generations living aboard enormous interstellar ships. Children born during the voyage. Entire communities traveling through darkness between stars. For them, Earth might become myth, our distant ancestral world, remembered through stories and recordings. The smell of rain, the sound of oceans, the warmth of sunlight through trees. Home carried forward through memory. Because home is not only geography. Home is emotional, a feeling of belonging, and perhaps wherever conscious beings carry love, memory, and meaning. There is another possibility too. Perhaps humanity never physically reaches Proxima Centauri. Perhaps interstellar distances remain too difficult, too expensive, too dangerous. And yet even then, the dream itself still matters. Because imagination changes civilization long before reality arrives. Long before submarines. People imagined worlds beneath the sea. Long before exoplanets were discovered. Humans imagined alien skies. Dreams often arrive first. The future begins in imagination. As we continue drifting above Proxima B tonight, imagine standing at the edge of a dark ocean beneath eternal twilight. Gentle waves move beneath crimson light. Cold wind crosses black volcanic stone. And above the horizon hangs the nearest neighboring star to humanity, a red ember burning quietly through cosmic time. No cities, no voices, no machines, only silence. And perhaps somewhere within that silence exists peace. Modern human life is often loud. Constant information, constant movement, constant urgency. But the cosmos remains patient. Galaxy stars evolve gradually. Nebulas drift over millions of years. The universe breathes differently than human civilization. Perhaps that is why space feels calming. It reminds us that existence itself is not in a hurry. The Milky Way above Proxima B would likely appear breathtaking, brighter than most skies on Earth. A glowing river of stars stretching across darkness. Billions of suns, many with worlds of their own. Entire civilizations may someday exist scattered among them. Or perhaps most remain silent forever. We do not know. But even uncertainty contains beauty, because mystery keeps the universe alive inside the human imagination. Every unanswered question becomes a doorway. Every distant star becomes an invitation. Perhaps somewhere around another red dwarf star, another civilization is imagining us. Maybe beneath alien skies, conscious beings wonder whether life exists around distant yellow stars. Perhaps they create stories about unknown worlds the same way humans do. Or perhaps intelligence everywhere experiences similar emotions. Curiosity, loneliness, wonder, hope. The universe may shape consciousness in surprisingly universal ways. Or perhaps alien minds would be completely incomprehensible. Different senses, different perceptions of time, different emotions, different understandings of reality itself. The cosmos may contain forms of awareness stranger than anything humanity can currently imagine. And still, despite all those possibilities, Earth remains extraordinary so far. Among all known worlds, it is the only confirmed living planet. Oceans, forests, birdsong, rainfall, breathing ecosystems covering an entire. Astronomy does not reduce Earth's beauty. It magnifies it. Because once we understand how rare habitable worlds may be, our own planet feels even more precious. A fragile oasis suspended in darkness. Perhaps that is one of the greatest gifts of space exploration. Perspective. The ability to see Earth not as ordinary, but miraculous. A small blue world, where matter became conscious. Where oceans produced life. where life learned to think, where thinking beings began studying the stars. The universe became aware of itself through fragile biological creatures, living on a rocky planet orbiting a yellow star. There is something profoundly beautiful about that. Tonight, somewhere above Earth's atmosphere, ancient starlight from Proxima Centauri continues arriving silently after crossing interstellar darkness for years. Photons leaving the star long ago now touching our world. Perhaps some pass through observatories. Perhaps some reflect across oceans. Perhaps some quietly enter your window tonight. The universe is constantly reaching us. As sleep slowly approaches now, imagine Proxima B continuing its silent orbit around its red sun. A world divided between light and darkness, fire and ice, heat and shadow, and somewhere between those extremes stretches an eternal twilight horizon, a permanent evening world beneath crimson skies, a place humanity may someday see directly, or perhaps only dream about forever. Either possibility is beautiful, because wonder itself has value. Not every mystery needs resolution. Sometimes, the existence of the unknown is enough. Thank you for continuing this journey through deep space tonight. May your breathing grow slower. May your thoughts become softer. And as the stars drift quietly overhead, imagine the red light of Proxima Centauri glowing patiently across the darkness. Between worlds, ancient silent, waiting. Far behind us now, Earth is almost impossible to see. The Sunday itself has become only another distant star among countless others, scattered across the Milky Way. And somewhere ahead, glowing softly in the endless black ocean of space, waits Proxima Centauri, small red ember, the nearest neighboring sun, a lonely light suspended between eternity and silence. Tonight, we drift farther than ever before, not only through space, but through time itself. Imagine standing once more on the surface of Proxima Centauri B. The sky glows dim red above silent oceans. Winds move slowly across black volcanic stone. The horizon never fully brightens, never fully darkens. An endless twilight, worlds suspended between extremes. And overhead, the stars appear sharper than diamonds. The Milky Way stretches across the sky like frozen silver mist. Billions of suns, billions of possible worlds, perhaps billions of stories unfolding simultaneously across the galaxy. And yet here, on this imagined shore beneath crimson light, everything feels quiet, still, patient. The universe often appears dramatic from Earth. Explosions, collisions, supernovas, black holes. But deep space itself is surprisingly calm. Most of the cosmos is silence. Most of existence is distance. And perhaps that silence changes the way consciousness feels. When exposed to it long enough, human beings evolved in crowded environments. Wind through trees, birdsong, rainfall, ocean waves, voices, movement. But interstellar space contains almost none of those things. No sound travels through vacuum. No weather moves between stars. Only darkness, only light, only unimaginable distance. And yet many people find the idea emotionally peaceful. Perhaps because silence allows the mind to slow down. Modern life constant schedules, news noise. But the cosmos asks for nothing. The stars simply exist patiently, without urgency. As we continue drifting through deep space tonight, imagine looking back toward Earth from the Proxima system. Our Sunday appears only as another small point of light. Somewhere beside it, invisible from this distance, everything humanity has ever created reduced to a nearly undetectable speck. Every city, every language, every memory, every war, every song, every every moment of love contained within a tiny world, almost swallowed by cosmic darkness. And strangely, perspective like this does not erase meaning, it deepens it. Because small things, a single candle matters in darkness. A single voice matters in silence. A single living world matters in an otherwise lifeless void. Perhaps that is one of the greatest emotional lessons hidden inside astronomy. The universe is unimaginably vast, and still individual experience remains real. The warmth of sunlight through a window, rain, the comfort of another person nearby. Human life is tiny on cosmic scales, but tiny does not mean unimportant. Meaning exists wherever consciousness exists. And consciousness itself may be one of the rarest things in the universe. There is a possibility that intelligent civilizations appear only occasionally across cosmic histories. Small islands of awareness separated by impossible oceans of darkness and time. Perhaps entire civilizations rise and disappear without ever discovering one another. Stars are distant. Light is slow. Time moves relentlessly forward. And yet conscious beings continue looking outward. Anyway, searching, listening, wondering. Perhaps curiosity is one of the strongest forces in existence. Stronger even than fear. Imagine now that humanity eventually develops true interstellar technology. Not tomorrow, not soon, but someday perhaps. Great ships crossing darkness between stars. Artificial ecosystems. Glowing softly inside enormous vessels. Generations born during the journey. Children growing up never having seen Earth directly. For them, Earth may become more myth than memory. A distant ancestral ocean world beneath a yellow sun. A birthplace carried, and perhaps one day, those travelers finally arrive at Proxima Centauri. The first human beings standing beneath another sun. Imagine that moment: red light across alien mountains. Dark oceans beneath unfamiliar skies. Human footprints pressing into the dust of another star system for the very first time. A species, born on one small planet, finally stepping into the galaxy. And perhaps future generations would no longer think of stars as unreachable. Perhaps the Milky Way itself would slowly transform psychologically, from impossibly distant lights into destinations, connected worlds, future homes. Human civilization may someday spread slowly outward, like drifting seeds carried through cosmic wind. World after world, star after star, a gradual awakening across the galaxy. Or perhaps humanity never leaves the solar system at all. That possibility exists too. Interstellar travel may forever remain beyond. The distances may simply be too enormous. Civilizations may not survive long enough. Resources may always remain limited. But even then, the dream itself still matters. Because imagination shapes identity. Human beings define themselves partly through the horizons they pursue. Long before people crossed oceans, they imagined distant continents. Long before flight existed, they dreamed of the sky. Long before telescopes discovered exoplanets, humanity imagined worlds beyond Earth. Dreams arrive first. Reality often follows slowly behind them. And even when dreams remain forever unreachable, they still expand consciousness. They still change the way civilization sees itself. As we float quietly now beside Proxima Centauri, notice how gentle the star appears. Not brilliant, not dramatic. A soft red glow against endless darkness. There is something deeply comforting about quiet stars. The universe does not need constant spectacle to remain beautiful. Sometimes subtle things feel more emotionally powerful. A distant lighthouse in fog. A cabin window glowing at night. A single star above an empty desert. Small lights become meaningful because darkness surrounds them. Perhaps consciousness works the same way. Awareness matters because the universe itself is mostly silent. Try now to imagine cosmic time on scales larger than human history. Our species has existed for only a tiny fraction of Earth's existence. Civilization itself is younger still. Yet stars like Proxima Centauri may survive for trillions of years. Long after Earth disappears. Long after the Sunday dies. Long after galaxies themselves begin changing shape. Red dwarf stars are extraordinarily patient. They burn slowly, carefully conserving fuel. The future universe may belong almost entirely to red dwarfs. Like Proxima. Imagine that distant era. The bright massive stars long gone. The cosmos darker and colder. And still, scattered across the fading universe, tiny red embers continue glowing quietly through unimaginable time. Proxima Centauri may outlive nearly everything humanity currently knows. There is something hauntingly beautiful about that thought. Human life is brief. Civilizations are temporary. Even planets eventually change beyond recognition. But stars continue, patient beyond comprehension. Perhaps that is why astronomy offers peace, loneliness, humility. The cosmos reveals both how small we are and how extraordinary awareness itself may be. Atoms forged inside ancient stars eventually formed planets. Those planets created chemistry. That chemistry eventually awakened into consciousness. You listening tonight, I'll live long enough to think about another sun. There is something quietly miraculous about that. Not miraculous because humans are powerful, but because humans are aware. The universe became capable of reflection through fragile biological life. Through conscious beings, existence notices itself. Perhaps somewhere else in the galaxy, another civilization also stares toward Proxima Centauri. Maybe beneath another sky, alien astronomers study the same stars humanity studies. Perhaps they ask the same questions. Are we alone? What exists beyond the next horizon? How long will consciousness survive? The laws of physics appear universal. Perhaps curiosity is universal too. Or perhaps intelligent life elsewhere would think in ways entirely beyond human understanding. Different senses, different emotions, different concepts of time, different experiences of reality itself. The universe may contain minds stranger than imagination can currently reach. And still, despite all possibilities, silence remains one of the defining characteristics of the cosmos. No confirmed alien voices, no clear signals, only distance, only stars, only darkness. Some scientists call this the Fermi paradox. If intelligent life should be common, then where is everyone? Perhaps civilizations destroy themselves. Perhaps interstellar travel is too difficult. Perhaps advanced life chooses silence. Or perhaps the galaxy is simply so enormous that conscious worlds rarely overlap in time. Civilizations may rise and vanish like brief sparks in cosmic darkness, missing one another entirely. Yet, even silence can feel meaningful. Standing beneath the night sky, people often experience something difficult to describe emotionally. Not exactly sadness, not exactly peace, something larger, cosmic solitude. The awareness that existence itself may be both beautiful and profoundly lonely. And perhaps loneliness is the price consciousness pays for self-awareness. To know oneself also means understanding separation, distance, mortality, time, but perhaps awareness also creates connection. Because conscious beings can share wonder together, can share meaning, can share beauty. Imagine now the oceans of Earth once more, moonlight moving across water, Rain falling quietly through forests. Wind crossing grasslands beneath morning sunlight. Astronomy changes the way those ordinary moments feel. Because once we understand how rare living worlds may be, Earth itself becomes astonishing. A breathing planet covered in ecosystems and memory. A fragile sphere, where matter learned to dream. The stars do not reduce Earth's importance. They magnify it. Perhaps someday future generations living beneath alien skies will still remember Earth emotionally. Not because it was perfect, but because it was home. The first world. The place where humanity first looked upward and wondered about the stars. Every civilization carries origin stories. Earth may eventually become the origin story of an interstellar species. Or perhaps it will remain humanity's only home forever. Either possibility contains beauty. As sleep grows closer now, imagine drifting slowly away from Proxima Centauri once more. The red star shrinking behind us. Its glow fading softly into darkness. Ahead stretches the Milky Way. Billions of suns. Countless unknown worlds. Endless mysteries still waiting quietly in cosmic silence. And somewhere among them drifts Earth. Small, warm, alive, a tiny oasis of consciousness inside an ancient universe. The cosmos does not hurry. Galaxies rotate slowly. Nebulas drift patiently. Stars burn across unimaginable spans of time. Perhaps remembering that helps soften human anxiety. Most worries are temporary. Most fears eventually pass. Like weather moving across a deeper sky. The universe itself remains calm, ancient, steady, silent, tonight. Without spacecraft or engines, you travel beyond the solar system through imagination alone, across interstellar darkness, toward another star, toward another possible world. That ability may be one of humanity's greatest quiet powers. The capacity to mentally inhabit places never physically reached, to dream beyond current limitations, to imagine futures not yet real perhaps. Imagination itself is the first form of exploration. And now, as the journey slowly comes to an end, imagine one final far beyond Earth, beyond the planets, beyond the frozen edge of the solar system. A tiny red star glows alone in darkness. Not loud, not brilliant, not easily visible, and yet emotionally unforgettable. Proxima Centauri, the nearest neighboring sun. A distant ember reminding humanity that the universe is far larger than our world, and still filled with mystery. May your breathing become softer now. May your thoughts drift slowly like starlight crossing deep space. And as sleep gently carries you farther into quietness, imagine the stars continuing their silent movement overhead, patient, ancient, endless, far beyond Earth, far beyond the solar system, far beyond the ordinary scale of human life. Tonight, we drift not only across interstellar space, but toward the distant future of the universe itself. And still beside us, glowing softly against the darkness, remains Proxima Centauri, a small red dwarf star, patient, enduring, long after brighter suns disappear. Stars like Proxima may become the final lights, remaining in the cosmos tonight. We travel into that unimaginable future together. Slowly, gently, without fear. Imagine the universe billions upon billions of years from now. The night sky has changed. Constellations no longer resemble the ones humanity once knew. Galaxies have drifted and merged. Entire stars have vanished. The Sunday itself is gone. Earth exists only as memory, if anything of it remains at all. And yet Proxima Centauri still burns quietly through the darkness. Red dwarfs live extraordinarily long lives, while larger stars consume fuel quickly and die dramatically. Red dwarfs survive patiently, carefully, slowly conserving their energy across trillions of years. The future universe may belong almost entirely to stars like Proxima, small embers glowing softly through cosmic night. Human beings rarely think on such timescales. A century feels long to us. Civilizations rise and fall within a few thousand years. Even mountains eventually erode away. But the cosmos measures time differently. Galaxies evolve over billions of years. Stars survive for durations so enormous, they almost escape imagination entirely, and perhaps that difference in scale changes something emotionally inside us. Because when viewed against cosmic time, many human worries become temporary weather passing across a deeper sky. Imagine standing once more beneath the crimson light of Proxima Centauri b. But now, trillions of years have passed. The universe has aged, most bright stars are gone. The night sky itself appears darker, colder, more silent. Yet, Proxima still glows faintly overhead, a surviving ember in a fading cosmos. There is something strangely comforting about persistent light. A candle remaining lit after the storm. A lighthouse still shining through heavy fog. A distant star refusing to disappear. Perhaps that is why people feel emotionally attached to stars. Not because stars care about us, but because they symbolize endurance, continuity, the idea that something remains. The future universe may become incredibly quiet. Astronomers sometimes describe a distant era known as the degenerate era, a time after most normal stars have died. The galaxies darker, the cosmos colder, black holes drifting through emptiness, white dwarfs cooling slowly, ancient remnants scattered across expanding space. And still, among those fading structures, red dwarfs may continue burning patiently. Teeny islands of warmth surviving inside enormous darkness. Try for a moment to imagine the emotional feeling of such a universe. Not frightening, not violent, simply vast. Still, silent beyond comprehension. Perhaps silence on scales like that becomes almost spiritual. The universe slowly exhaling across eternity. There is a strange paradox hidden inside astronomy. The more enormous the cosmos becomes, the more precious small moments begin to feel. A warm room during rain, the sound of someone, music late at night. Human experiences are brief, fragile, temporary, and precisely because they are temporary, they matter emotionally. A sunset would lose meaning if it lasted forever. Moments become beautiful because they pass. Perhaps life itself gains meaning through impermanence. As the future universe grows darker, galaxies themselves slowly drift farther apart. Expansion continues. Distant galaxies eventually move beyond visibility entirely. Future civilizations living trillions of years from now may no longer even know other galaxies once existed. The observable universe around them could appear empty except for their local stars. Imagine that loneliness. Entire civilizations born into cosmic isolation. No visible evidence of the larger universe humanity once observed. The night sky becoming quieter with age, stars gradually disappearing one by one. And and still consciousness may continue somewhere. Perhaps civilizations adapt. Perhaps minds become digital. Perhaps life survives around long-lived red dwarfs like Proxima Centauri. Or perhaps awareness itself eventually fades from existence entirely. We do not know, and maybe that uncertainty is unavoidable. The universe allows observation, but not complete understanding. Some mysteries remain beyond reach. There is humility in accepting that. Human beings naturally seek answers. We want certainty, conclusions, meaning clearly defined. But the cosmos often responds with silence instead. Not hostile silence. Not empty silence. Ancient silence. The kind that existed before life emerged. The kind that will remain after civilizations disappear. And perhaps maturity means learning to exist peacefully beside mystery. Imagine now that you are floating far above the future remnants of the Milky Way. The galaxy itself transformed after collisions and billions of years of evolution. The familiar spiral shape long gone. Stars redistributed into new patterns. Ancient worlds drifting cold through darkness. And somewhere among them, Proxima Centauri still glows softly. A surviving red ember, one of the last patient fires of the universe. Perhaps future beings gather around such stars, the way ancient humans once gathered around campfires. Warmth surrounded by darkness, light surrounded by silence. Civilization itself may always depend emotionally on small islands of illumination. There is another possibility too. Perhaps intelligence never survives indefinitely. Perhaps every civilization eventually disappears. Every species temporary. Every mind finite. At first, this idea can feel sad. But perhaps impermanence also creates beauty. Music matters because it ends. Stories matter because pages eventually close. Human life matters because time is limited. If existence lasted forever unchanged, perhaps meaning itself would dissolve. Maybe awareness becomes valuable precisely because it is fragile. As we continue drifting through the far future tonight, notice how calm the universe feels. No urgency, no deadlines, no noise, only immense darkness filled with slow, moving light. Astronomy often reveals a version of reality far quieter than human civilization. The cosmos is not chaotic. Most of existence is spaciousness, stillness, patience. Perhaps that is why space documentaries help people sleep. The universe breathes slowly. Galaxies rotate gently. Stars evolve patiently. Nothing important in the cosmos happens quickly. Imagine now the final eras of star formation. A distant future, when fewer new stars are born. Galaxies exhausting their supplies of gas. The great stellar nurseries slowly fading. The bright youthful universe growing old. And still the surviving red dwarfs continue glowing. Long-lived witnesses to cosmic history. Proxima Centauri may endure through ages beyond human comprehension. Long after humanity, long after Earth, long after even memory itself disappears. There is something deeply emotional about ancient light. The stars above Earth tonight are time travelers. Some of their light began its journey long before modern civilization existed. Astronomy allows humanity to look backward through time, simply by looking outward through space. When we observe distant galaxies, we see ancient history written in light. The cosmos remembers itself through photons crossing darkness. Perhaps memory itself works similarly. Human beings are shaped by echoes from the past, childhood experience, moments that continue traveling through consciousness long after they occurred. In that way, people resemble stars. Both leave traces moving forward through time. Imagine again the red twilight world of Proxima B, dark oceans beneath crimson skies, cold winds moving endlessly around the planet. And somewhere along the eternal boundary between day and night exists a calm shoreline, gentle waves, dim red reflections across water, a horizon permanently suspended in evening light. It feels almost dreamlike, a world designed not for noise, but for stillness. Perhaps that is why the imagination keeps returning there, because Proxima Centauri represents more than astronomy. It represents emotional distance, mystery, loneliness, hope, the quiet possibility that reality remains larger than human civilization currently understands. Human beings often fear being small, but astronomy offers another perspective. Small things can still contain extraordinary meaning. Earth is tiny compared to the galaxy, and yet every human emotion ever experienced happened there. A single human life is brief compared to cosmic time, and yet within one life can exist love, memory, beauty, grief, music, friendship. Wonder scale does not erase significance. Perhaps consciousness itself is how the universe creates meaning locally. The cosmos may be indifferent overall, but within conscious beings, meaning appears naturally. A sunset matters because someone experiences it. Music matters because someone listens. Stars matter because someone wonders about them. Without awareness, through awareness, it becomes beautiful. As the night deepens around you now, imagine the universe continuing forever outward, in all directions. Galaxies beyond galaxies, stars beyond stars. Distances so enormous that language struggles to contain them. And somewhere among all that vastness drifts one small living world called Earth, a fragile planet covered in oceans and memory. A place where conscious beings once looked upward and imagined the stars. Perhaps that alone makes humanity extraordinary. Not power, not technology, imagination. The ability to mentally travel beyond physical limits. Tonight, without leaving your room, you crossed interstellar dark. You stood beneath alien skies. You imagined the far future of the cosmos itself. Consciousness can travel where the body cannot. And now our journey slowly begins to come to rest. The stars continue drifting silently overhead. Proxima Centauri glows faintly in the distance. Ancient, patient, steady, a small red light surviving against enormous darkness. Perhaps somewhere around it, waves still move quietly beneath crimson skies. Perhaps somewhere in the universe, other minds are also staring upward tonight, wondering whether they are alone, or perhaps consciousness is incredibly rare, a fragile, temporary flame in a mostly silent cosmos. Either possibility makes awareness precious. As sleep gently approaches now, allow the universe to grow softer around you, the galaxies more distant, the stars quieter, your thoughts lighter. Imagine floating peacefully through deep space with no destination required. No urgency, no pressure, only calm movement through endless starlight. The cosmos has existed for billions of years. Tonight, you are simply resting inside it for a little while, far beyond Earth, far beyond the solar system. A tiny red star continues glowing softly through the darkness. Proxima Centauri, the nearest neighboring sun, a distant ember, reminding humanity that the universe is immeasurably vast and still filled with mystery. Good night, and welcome always back to the quiet universe.